Nice shirt.
I just looked at it. Why are you wearing maroon?
Well, I'm not wearing this medium though.
Oh, I'm wearing
one that actually fits me.
I'm wearing spandex.
You're wearing the toddler size.
No, this is spandex size. I like
That's a
the
nicer
spandex.
color maroon though. A little darker.
Well, that may be the cardinal.
Cardinal? It's almost more like purple than maroon. Yours is more like maroon.
That's not purple.
I mean, it's more of a purple tint.
That is, Todd, can we get verification? Do you see any purple in that maroon shirt that he's wearing?
I mean, it's like your shirt.
That's definitely
it's like your
maroon.
chair. It's definitely purple.
It's maroon.
Chair is blue. Clearly, it's violet.
Yeah.
Like my
Violet.
suit.
You're turning violet.
The suit matches that.
Yeah, it does.
The suit came back yesterday, by the way.
That only took a couple weeks.
Yeah, it took a couple weeks for them to do that. But whatever.
You guys are like twins. Except I think Steven's arms are bigger.
Right. Yeah, because he's getting that
Mainly
power.
my right arm.
Let's get started. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and welcome to RAWtalk episode 225 as we venture our way to 269.
Yes.
Which is going to take years, but we'll
At this point, yeah.
we'll get there every other week. So some of you guys have noticed that I'm putting up more audio podcasts on the audio side of it. I'm still figuring out whether I'm going to film some of those audio podcasts and put those up other places like Facebook, maybe YouTube, but there are other properties that are going up there. So be sure to subscribe to the audio podcast as well to pick up some other audio listenings that you can do. Some of them are 8 minutes, some of them are 15 minutes, including Photo News Fix Extra, which can be anywhere between 12 and 20 minutes, depending on how much I decide to talk.
You do that for
during
every Photo News Fix?
I do that, yeah. It releases when the Photo News Fix releases. The Photo News Fix Extra releases too. And every Wednesday... Every Wednesday, I've been releasing the pictures in my mind. I have to film more of those. I pre-filmed 4.
You film them like this?
Yeah, because everybody listening to the audio podcast can see Todd reaching to find where the microphone is as if he's blind.
Picture this.
It's what he does when he's reaching into his
in your
pants.
mind.
So this is the order of the show today. We're going to talk about what we've been doing for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We've got the recaps of what happens at the factory, what we've been shooting, my trip, Steven's shoot with iHeartRadio. I don't even know what the hell Todd's been doing.
Probably
What?
nothing. Making his right arm stronger.
He's probably been busy with VR. Yeah, too bad your arms droop when you do that. Let me quickly say this show is brought to you by Rode microphones. We use Rode each and every week. This is the Rode Broadcaster. I have the Rode
Broadcaster.
I have the Rode NT USB at home. That's what I use for the Photo News Fix Extra.
I got one too.
And Todd has one. And also, they just released the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. Ooh. The one that we saw in January in Vegas.
Did they
Jared, I want
re-announce
one of
it?
those.
Or now
No,
it's
now
just
they're
ready
available.
for pre-order?
No, now they're available.
Now they're actually available
Yeah, I
to
think
buy.
they're available.
Okay.
Jared, get me one of those.
Yeah.
No, I'm getting
Well,
us...
What I love about them is that they actually record a stereo track, and one of them is like negative 6 dB, so it's a
that's
backup
right.
track.
Oh my gosh.
It's technically
yes.
mono, but
Yes,
it's
yes,
awesome.
yes.
And it turns off and on when the camera's on.
It's powered
and
by
off.
the camera,
So
correct.
no longer do you need to worry that you're just burning battery because Todd never shuts anything off.
And the 9-volt battery, too.
So
I never turn off.
let's move to the big controversry of the following 2 weeks.
How many weeks?
2. The big controversy happened when Dan was outside at 8:30 or sometime in the morning.
Tell me more.
And a girl came to get her keys that she left in our garden. And that left me perplexed, going, why were you even in our garden behind our closed gate that was wired shut? Then we checked the security footage to find...
From our Canon cameras.
Oh, yes. This segment not brought to you by Canon because they probably wouldn't approve of what we're about to say. But I will say that we do have Canon security cameras outside and inside in secret locations where you don't know where all of them are, but you'll see them on the outside of the building if you look well enough because they're this big.
If you open your eyes.
But because we had the cameras, we were able to find out who these girls were through the power of the internets in about 2 days, which didn't take long. So here's the story.
It was crowdsourced.
It is. We checked the video footage, and what I see are 2 girls drive up in separate cars, park in front of the factory, make a B. Is it a V line or a B line?
It's a B line.
B or V?
Why would you make a V line? Why would they go back and forth?
That's true.
A B
but
line is straight.
unlike Todd. What? Anyway, they made a beeline directly for the gate that was maybe unhinged a little bit.
Well, they had to actually, go under...
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. We have it wired shut. Now we have freaking we fixed the lock thing that was there, but we've had it wired shut because we had to keep the crack addicts out. Sorry, they're not crack addicts; they're heroin addicts.
They're heroin addicts, Jared.
Get the attic right.
We
had
do
to
not
keep that-
stoop to those levels.
When they
Thank
kept
you.
kicking down our fence, probably the same kid ringing the doorbell, allegedly, we ended up wiring it shut so nobody could get in. That was the easiest way because you couldn't kick through that.
Yeah.
So what happened is, I look at the footage, you can see that they pushed the door and it's open maybe this much, and the girls get stuck trying to go through. So you understand that is not...
I had a heavy lunch. Shut up, Jared.
And so what happens is these girls, two of them, and you can see the footage going, are gallivanting around like they own my garden and Dan's garden and Steven's garden, not
It was like
Todd's.
Woodstock back there.
Right, so they're walking through the garden like it's theirs, looking at our stuff.
La-di-da-da-da.
Then she picks flowers. She reaches down, picks my flower, and I got really upset.
I'm like Mother Nature, Jared.
Right, so I
Flowers
called
belong
them...
to everyone.
I called them trespassing, thieving hippies, and one of my friends took offense to me calling them hippies. I didn't say... I didn't clump them together with all hippies, but they were clearly hippies wearing long...
They were like you, hippies.
Yeah, hippies. Anyway, so the moral of the story is
hippie.
I took the Canon footage, I put it on Instagram, then I put it on my personal Facebook page to keep it away from the business side.
Sure, yeah.
Because the Fronos photo didn't
No
need
need
to
for
see
that,
that.
yeah.
But
we'll talk about it here.
We'll talk about it here. And so I put that up, and of course... I'm like, does anybody know who these trespassing, flower stealing hippies are? And so I did that on Instagram, and then by the next morning, like a day and a half later, I wake up, and a friend of mine who's been on the show before is like, I don't know who this girl is, but for some reason I follow her because he probably met her at some point. And there was a freeze frame, that a screen grab from a text message, because the one girl, the taller one wearing the white dress thing.
It's called a moo-moo, Jared. It's called a moo-moo.
She must have sent the text to her other friend, who then was like, girl, we're thieving hippies. That guy's such a creep. They called me a creep.
Well, they got that right.
They called me a creep for posting their images, which was great.
When they were trespassing on your property.
So now that I found the name, I put the name into Facebook and realized that I have 7 friends.
And by the way, this is all happening, this is everything stops for this. Nothing else gets done at Frono's Photo while the flower, with the 5 flower
thieving hippies.
This whole story. So continue.
That's not true. I did plenty of other work, and after it happened, I was like, okay, no big deal. They took a couple flowers. It pisses me off, and I moved on until I got that message a day and a half later. Then I was like, yeah, power of the internet. And so then I checked my Facebook, and I had 7 friends in common with them. And so I was gonna start reaching out to them to ask if they knew the girl.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have I had a name now. But what happened is the girl that stole the flowers ended up putting up her response, because I asked for an apology, and she put it public because she's like, I tried on the thread.
Yeah.
And so I screen grabbed it, so when she decided to remove it, I would still have it, because she's like, well, I sent a private message and you didn't reply. I was like, well,
do you know who I
famous.
am?
I'm famous.
Really freaking popular.
So on
Hundreds
Facebook,
of messages a
so on
day.
Facebook, I can't get messages from people that aren't friends.
Yeah.
And she clearly isn't a
Goes in
friend.
that like other requests.
It goes into the other box.
or
So I
I've
whatever.
got
checked it.
so many friends, by the way.
I checked it, and there was the message. So I thanked her for her apology for trespassing and stealing flowers, because I wanted to make it clear that she's acknowledging the fact that she did all these things.
Yeah.
And if you read this apology, you can look at it over on my Jared Polin Facebook page. It's open for everybody to look at. I posted it. You can read her non-apology apology. Phone call.
Yeah, Jared, I just wanted to say, I'm really sorry that it's your fault that, you left your gate open. I'm so sorry that, you didn't have a sign up. If I would have known you had a sign and didn't close your gate, I wouldn't have went in. But it's your fault for me trespassing.
Right. And that the moral of the story was the comment. And so I let the commenters, I wanted to give some major commentary on it, but I put it up, leaving it open for the commenters to really go to town. And I didn't put the girl's name up. I didn't put her
blacked out
any
everything.
link.
Yeah, I saw
I blocked that out because, that's what I'm going to do. And so
It's MoonBeam. My name's MoonBeam.
It's MoonBeam.
Right.
Thank you.
So the girl
MoonBeam.
starts telling everybody about all the great things she's done.
MoonBeam.
Then she moves on to that she picks wildflowers all the time.
And I eat them.
Her roommate can attest to that. Like, that means anything.
This was like clearly your garden, though. It's not wildflowers
then-
by the definition.
Proceeds to
of them
go
being
on to
wild.
tell me that I should take down the post now that she's apologized because everything's better now that she apologized and she sees no problem in me taking it. She sees no reason why I wouldn't take it down.
Don't defame MoonBeam.
Well,
it's not right.
But the funny thing is, somebody was like, hippies that, that believe that nature belongs to everybody would know that they shouldn't kill nature to then put it on their countertop. Because it was almost like, it would have been funnier if she just posted the ransom photo of the flower vase with the flowers instead of her apology followed by a picture of the dying flowers in a vase. So that led me to when I was in Austin the other day.
You texted us with a picture of this.
I was in Austin the other day, and I'm like, I must buy this.
I was like, please get that.
Is the garden gnome that stands over 9 inches tall that says, "Go away, garden gnome." And
That's what he's saying?
And well,
And
he's
he's
also,
also
it says
saying
go
you-
away.
I'm
it has
number
a sign
one.
and it has a finger.
I mean, there's a finger. He only has one finger. He's like an angry elf.
It's like Jared's mini-me.
So you're number one, hippies.
You're number one, hippies.
Where are you going to put that?
I don't know. We'll probably
He's going to definitely put it in the window because somebody will steal that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
wait. I
Hey,
need to,
that's
I need
not
to,
right.
I'm gonna write in Sharpie hippies underneath.
Hey, that's not right.
This
I'm
will
gonna march
definitely
on
not prevent
Washington.
other
That's
future
really
hippies from entering the
bad.
garden at all.
All right, so
But it's awesome.
Let him stay there the whole show, by the way.
I am. It's plastic. So now we've got no trespassing signs because she said she thought it was a community garden. Clearly, it's not a community garden, and
Nature is
It's a
everybody's.
fenced-off locked
Nature is
garden.
everybody's.
and
Jared.
also, even if it's a community garden, it's the person who planted it who can. It's their garden, not your garden, to go and take whatever you wish without asking.
nobody
Yeah.
owns nature.
But she
Nobody
also
owns
said
nature.
a sign would have been helpful. I didn't know that a closed gate wired shut wasn't
now
sign
you got a
enough.
new sign for her right there.
And you got other signs that you bought later.
Yeah, I put
for
other
no
signs up now.
trespassing
Thank
and
you.
stuff
So
like that.
thank you for making us aware that we need, in order to stop trespassing people,
More than a
in
locked,
general.
fenced-off area.
So, Jared, see what happened is you should thank MoonBeam because I helped you with your security.
Thanks, MoonBeam, for helping me with your security, my security, and thanks, Canon Camera, for
You're
getting
welcome. And if you need me, I'll be in your garden.
Well, the great thing is that months ago, Dan and Steven helped this girl move her car out of the snow.
We did. I didn't realize it was her.
Anyway, I should move on because I took too much time. I didn't take too much time. I wanted to talk about that. So feel free to go over to the site and leave your comments on the non-apology that was considered to be
Hashtag MoonBeam.
a privileged hashtag MoonBeam. Hashtag MoonBeam. We should just call the show hashtag MoonBeam.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that you'll read the comments that are there because they are straightforward and just the what's the word, the privilege, the feel like the millennial entitlement
Entitlement,
that
yeah.
everything is okay, and that when you get caught, all you need to do is say, I didn't know. It's kind of like saying that, I didn't know I needed to announce all my meetings with the Russians. I just wasn't versed enough in the political procedure. Like, it's just saying ignorance of the rules doesn't exemplify you from the rules. Like, you get a driver's license when you're 16 and you go through a red light and you say, excuse me, officer, I didn't know the rules, so I shouldn't get a ticket. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that exists today, is that ignorance of the rules exempts you from the rules.
A lot of privilege up in that garden. A lot of privilege.
Hippie privilege.
Hippie
Hashtag.
privilege. Hashtag hippie privilege.
All right, let's move on. I was in Texas,
Yeah.
Well, goddamn.
but instead of talking about me, let's talk about Steven. You had a photo shoot, and I'll come back to Texas.
I did. I had a pretty busy weekend, actually. I last minute got called up by iHeartRadio. I had a couple of friends that moved up to the New York office, so the corporate office up there. And at first, he messages me on Facebook, my buddy, and he's like, hey, man, we have a shoot coming up soon. Can you shoot it for us? And I'm thinking, okay.
Now, was it fish?
It was not fish, no.
Damn it.
PH, not that fish.
Yeah.
So I assumed that he meant shooting as in still pictures, because that's all I ever really did for them was still photography, not really video. I did video interviews backstage, stuff like that, but shooting, I assumed it was stills. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. When is it? Oh, it's tomorrow. So less than 24 hours before the event, they tell me about this, and I'm like, holy crap.
They do pre-production like Jared.
Then I have one of their guys call me up hours later, and he finally calls me up, and he's like, yeah, so, we'll be doing video interviews. We'll need you to conduct them, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you mean I'll just be doing like behind the scenes photos of it, that like fly on the wall type stuff? No. I mean, you'll be doing the video. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you're shooting video the whole time. And
they offered money, right?
Oh yeah, they did offer money. This is a paid gig, very well paid actually too. And that was the only reason I took it, because it was last minute.
Look at you.
So then I realized, okay, I'm doing video this entire shoot. We're going to be doing backstage experiences, a fan experience. Basically, they did this giant nationwide contest where this fan gets to experience this backstage thing.
Did they fly him in?
During the Honda Civic Tour. They didn't fly him in. He actually was in Montclair, New Jersey. That's where he's from. So he just drove in. It was about 2 hours away.
They got out cheap there.
But it was Fits in the Tantrums, One Republic, and James Arthur. Everyone on the Honda Civic Tour was supposed to be this giant, awesome backstage experience. And I was basically doing fly-on-the-wall video and like a recap of the entire experience.
Yeah. And you didn't have to edit.
And I didn't have to edit. That was the other reason I took on this job, because I was like, all right, no editing? Cool. Just 3 hours of shooting.
Turn and burn.
Good to go. And that's basically what I do with Jared every day is zero pre-production, run around, shoot stuff, and I'm good.
But you don't have to deal with it with the footage now.
Exactly. So it's even better. So I agreed to sign on to it. I'm bringing this story up because they also wanted me to do not just video, they wanted me to do audio, lighting, everything. Literally be the one-man band.
Holy cow.
And again, I do this all the time, so I was like, cool. But I was freaking out because it was less than 24 hours before the event. And
Those are the best.
I had none of the gear with me.
Maybe
all
you
of
should
it's
have
at
asked
work.
for even more
I have
money.
a question, Mr. Eckert.
Todd, question?
Did you have to bring your own lights?
I had to bring everything.
You had to bring
everything.
Zero from them.
Nothing.
You're bringing camera, sound, lighting, everything.
Everything.
I should have charged a rental fee, a $500 rental fee for getting gear.
And all the
Jared,
stuff that we got,
you
got
lying.
for free from other companies.
Not all of it. I bought all those tripods.
I didn't bring a tripod.
Oh,
I would have broken it down like that too. No, I don't think he's far off at all.
No, because if you need to
have a
get
manpower
gear,
fee and you would have a rental fee for all that
in the future,
stuff as well.
like when Richie goes out on location, they're renting cables from him.
And this is iHeartRadio?
This is for iHeartRadio. National.
Yeah, we could have squeezed
National.
You could have squeezed a little more out of them.
So
for that,
I'm going to say I would have potentially attempted to charge $5.
They would have never done it though.
Yeah.
They were looking for a last minute thing. This is the budget.
Would have
and
they
that's
done
it.
25?
I don't think they would have.
I'm not asking you to tell me what they gave you, but
I guarantee they wouldn't have.
Are we talking about the numbers?
No, I don't want to talk about the numbers.
So let's not talk
about.
But
it wasn't that high.
Okay.
No, but I know.
But it was worth your while for 3 hours?
For 3 hours.
Well,
it was
Steven,
definitely worth my while for one day.
Gotcha.
Steven called me and was like, "Do you think I should do this?" And this was when I thought it was just photos.
Me too.
And they're like, and I'm like, that's what they're paying. I'm like, dude, it's tomorrow. It's 24 hours.
Pretty easy money.
It's a go shoot photos. Take the money. Who cares what they're paying you? Take the money. It's a payday.
Yeah.
And then you call me back and you're like, well,
so it's video.
Now they want video. I'm like, ask them for a little more money. And so what? Just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things when you. I used to say that if somebody called me for a wedding Friday that is on Saturday, I'd be like, cool. Let's do it. Here, pay me X, and I'll be there to shoot.
Right.
Those are the greatest.
Yeah.
Even if you give them a discount because it's like last minute, it's just found money.
Biggest thing for me was that I didn't have to edit it, so I was like, all right, definitely sign me up for that. So I ran here that night to grab all the gear because again it was the next day, and I grabbed a shoulder rig, I grabbed the 6D Mark II, and I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna do touch autofocus the whole time. That'll be the easiest thing to do.
Absolutely.
Brought an FMV light, had the Zoom H6. Now, the biggest thing for me, I was like, crap, I can't monitor audio. The 6D does not have a headphone jack.
it doesn't.
Shut up.
So I had to basically run the Zoom H6, plug everything into there, then run a line out to the 6D so I can monitor audio and record backup ISOs as well.
ISO.
They're actually called ISOs for backup.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Thank you.
So
Hashtag MoonBeam.
I brought the rig. Whole thing happened. Super chaotic experience, actually. A lot of the backstage stuff was kind of a mess, but the kid was great that we met. Again, it was definitely worth the money and worth the entire...
Were you happy with what you got?
I think so. I mean, it was very chaotic in terms of I was told I had full backstage access. I get back there and they're like, you can't shoot. I'm like, I'm supposed to shoot the whole backstage thing.
Yeah.
So we had to shoot a lot of the stuff in the lobby. We had to shoot a lot of stuff in these like little rooms.
Here's your backstage experience from the lobby.
Kind of, yeah.
Because you know what the backstage experience consists of at most shows? Where was it at?
This was at BB&T.
Yeah,
It was a pavilion.
It's an amphitheater with a back area, which, so it always consists of that's not approved. You can't come back here. The band is super busy right now eating at the cafeteria. It's
That's kind of what happened. I mean, a lot of these experiences were planned that he was supposed to do a meet and greet, like a pizza party, all these things, and none of it really happened.
Yeah.
Just because that's the nature of working with managers and bands and stuff.
What I will say is,
always happens.
whatever Steven delivers them is going to be 20 times better than anything else they ever would have gotten from their interns.
I gave them so much coverage, they definitely will make something shine out of all that.
They'll make it suck.
My question, my final question, I think, is what's their deliverable that they're looking for? Like a 5-minute, like...
Exactly. So basically the whole thing was supposed to be a behind-the-scenes kind of recap video of this is the fan experience that we're doing. These are the contests we're offering. This really happens in real life.
This is a fan experience that we sold, but then we really didn't deliver on.
I mean, I did deliver where he did all the meet and greets. He did meet all the bands. One Republic's like his favorite band, so he was super stoked about it.
He enjoyed himself.
He did enjoy it.
Yeah.
He definitely had a great time, but in the end, some of the stuff fell through last minute.
Did he get a groupie backstage?
Yes.
When he's 17?
He brought his mom with him.
Yes.
Yes.
That's cool.
Was she hot?
Stop.
Steven?
Did she get a groupie?
Yeah.
She was a younger mom. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, what I want to say too is that I'm so thankful for how light the XC10 is. I take that for granted because I shot with the freaking shoulder rig, 20 pounds on my shoulder, and my shoulder killed by the end of the day. I do not miss shooting.
It's a good thing you can be a one-man band. And if you want to be a one-man band, make sure you check out the Fronos Photo Guide to DSLR video and mirrorless.
So they basically they would not have probably signed me up for that if I didn't know audio, if I didn't know lighting, if I didn't know video, or even still photography. So in the end, you are a one-man band,
Dude,
and
you
it
got
really helps
all
out.
the money for that. Because if you didn't, you might have
was
had
asking
to
me,
split it with like
he's like, can you bring an
guy?
audio guy? And I'm like, do you have an extra budget, more money for that? And he's like, no. I'm like, no, I'm not dishing out more money for an audio guy.
No.
I'll do it myself.
So speaking of, stabilizers and stuff, time to plug Kessler Crane.
Yay!
Go to KesslerCrane.com/fro and use the code
Fro10.
Fro10 to get 10% off your order. So check out Kessler Crane. Just go to the link for fun anyway, and then see what they have, and then maybe buy something, or put something in your cart to come back to get later when you can afford it, or you need it. So just check out what they have, and then #Moonbeam. Let me know, #Moonbeam Kessler Crane.
Yep.
What happens. So let's move on to Steven had his birthday. We'll make this real quick while we're running the video. We got you a candle that I gaff taped using gaffer-powered tape to the top of the box.
Looks great.
Yep. We lit that candle. And what happened is I reached out to Pancakes. I was like, can we get Steven
Well, let me preface this too. The whole time throughout the day, Jared kept texting me like,
No,
you coming
Steven
in?
texted you. I mean, it was Dan. It wasn't me.
You didn't text me?
No.
You texted me later though, and you're like, when you going in?
No.
You did text me.
That was Dan.
You coming in? When you coming
Dan
in?
texted
When you
me
coming in?
too, though.
Hey,
You both
hey,
did.
Hey, Steven, you coming in? Hey,
You kept asking for specific times, and I'm like, why does Jared keep asking when I'm coming in?
Oh, because I was
Because
trying
I'm
to
gonna
see
do
if I
something
would be
nice
there.
for you.
Yeah.
I was going to see if I was going to be there.
Yeah.
So Pam, I was going to see if she could make you a big cupcake, because you're a cupcake, and then she hashtag
That's a one.
Steven's
You mean
cupcake.
like a one-biter for Steven?
No, she makes double-sized cupcakes, and I was going to get you a chocolate double-sized cupcake.
Died of a heart attack that
I
night.
would have helped you eat it. But she's like, well, we're not open Sundays and Mondays. I'm like, I know, do something special,
Damn
for
it,
Steven.
Pam.
But anyway, she brought over a dozen assorted cupcakes.
Dozen.
No, it was a dozen.
an actual dozen.
It was 12.
Yeah.
And then she brought over these fudge brownies with cookie dough that were just way too rich. Unbelievable. It was like, Todd, you ever go
so good.
Remember going down to the shore, going to the boardwalk
Down
and
the
getting
shore?
getting the fudge at the
shaw?
boardwalk? It was
Yup.
that fudgy, that brownie.
Really?
Holy shit, man.
Fudge,
Anyway,
pudge. We'll
we
never
brought
hold
them
a
over.
grudge.
Pancakes brought them. Dan got them. Dan made a trade with Pancakes.
Of course, Dan did. Why
Healthy
wouldn't he?
food from the garden for the cupcakes. So that was a pretty good trade, and that cupcake was exquisite.
Dan is such a hippie. You're worried about hippies in your garden? You already have a permanent one there.
It's true. He sometimes smells like patchouli oil.
But thank you for the cupcakes.
Dan
and
will be
thank you,
editing this.
Pancakes for
How
that.
old are you? How old are you now, Steven?
29, man. Last year in the 20s.
Are you really?
It's all downhill next year.
30s are pretty
Yeah,
good.
I mean, at
All
least I'm not like
downhill
60
next year.
like you,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
works out.
That's
I still
when,
got plenty of time.
That's when your nuts really start sagging next year.
Well, speaking of Todd, why don't we do this? While we were in LA at the Canon repair facility, we did check to see if they could repair one more thing.
Whoops.
The biggest thing to repair,
Let's take a listen to this. Well, so while we're waiting, I actually have another repair question. Do you think that you could repair Frank?
He's beyond repair.
You heard it here. He's beyond repair.
He's beyond repair.
You're so funny, Jared. You are so funny. And you know what? Screw you and screw Sanchez, by the way.
Frank, for those that don't
Frank
know,
does not appreciate. He's sad.
is Todd's tooth that he chipped with a pretzel.
Wait till I get it fixed, asshole.
The Canon kid had no idea
I'm
what we were
gonna get
talking about.
Invisalign.
Invisalign.
Jeff, can you get Invisalign?
Yeah, but you
brought
can't.
to you by Invisalign, #MoonBeam.
Invisalign doesn't grow back teeth.
Please tweet it Invisalign to sponsor
Frank.
to Fix Frank. #FixFrank.
Fix Frank. Yeah, so that was funny. No, that Canon kid was good. We've got the Canon vlog coming soon.
That looks
vlog
good.
almost.
I saw the footage of my lens taken apart, and it looks crazy.
Looks awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah,
They spent a couple hours on that lens.
It looks really cool.
It was funny.
Totally jacked up.
And then it got back. It met me it was back at my house before I even was home.
Yeah.
So
they
was
told me
cool.
that it focuses properly, but the resolution was shifted at some point.
I don't even
So
understand what that means.
I assume
Exactly.
it's the element, like there was an element shift
Yeah.
that dropped or something on the ground,
Yeah, the fifth-
and it wouldn't actually achieve critical focus.
Yeah, the fifth element shifted.
but the focus motors worked though. It just wouldn't actually achieve critical focus.
Copy that.
All right, let's talk about my trip, and then we'll get into the news part because we're
Reinventing.
because we're reworking and doing the show a little bit with more the news stuff because you guys have commented how much you love when we discuss the news. So we pick a couple news stories. We'll expand on it. Kind of different than Photo News Fix Extra because it's Steven and it's Todd.
It's weird. We actually used to have a news segment on this show.
Yeah, but this very similar to the
Yeah,
news
but the guy
segment.
that did it sucked balls. I mean,
Screw you.
I was wet at the end of it just because of him. So
Let's finish talking because we're almost 30 minutes in already.
Great.
I went to Austin as part of my photo project. It's the personal photo project. It's called 6 Degrees. I haven't talked about it very much, but it's where it's honestly a experiment, not even an experiment because it's already been proven that it's a networking thing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable the doors that get opened by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because when one subject tells the next subject that they'd like me to be would like me to move my personal project to the next place, the next person's like, okay.
it really is the perfect example of how important personal networking is. I think if this proves anything, not only that you can get awesome photos, meet cool people, but how important that personal one-on-one, just reaching out to people and seeing that's where I got all my jobs from. What I did was word of mouth.
Yeah. And speaking of
Networking is key.
So I'll get to let me show you the bull. I was on a farm. There were cows, including this bull that I've never seen a bull in person. I didn't realize that those bull balls that hang from cars are actually small, but they are. I mean, it's like I can't believe the thing. It's like a pendulum right there. That was pretty cool.
That was a bull.
That was a bull. All right. #MoonBeam. I was I stayed away from the bull because he was staring at me. I didn't want him to run at me
because there was a fence there. You're not supposed to go in where you're not allowed, Jared.
That's true.
There was a fence. They probably had a sign as well.
Look at the size of this bull. What? I hear you. Wait till you see this guy's balls. The balls on this thing. I'm like hiding behind the fence because the cows. Oh, here we go. Look at those things. Look at those. Whoa.
Anyway, being on the farm with this guy, Ryan Holiday, who moved from LA to New York to New Orleans to then get a farm in Austin was cool. It was a great photo story.
Sounds like a hippie.
Did it feel relaxing to be on the farm?
So what felt relaxing was when you're out on the farm and you're fixing the fence, you're tending to the cows.
You're shooting drones out of the sky.
You're shooting drones out of the sky. You're just. The crazy thing is, there's tasks that you need to get, and none of them are quick because there's always something else you need to do to prepare to go get that huge, heavy bale of hay and that round ball where he had to get the tractor. Then they had to hook the stuff up to the tractor. Then
whole
realize it was
process.
upside down. Then they had to check with the neighbor at why it wasn't doing X. Then he had to do an interview. So the two worlds of the tech world, because he's in that, mixed with the farming world. So then we came back to that. Then we got it. Then he put it out. Then he had to get it into this thing. So it's like a task that seems simple isn't really simple.
Yeah.
But it was cool because your mind is taken away from the rest because you have this task to focus on. So the farm was cool. I really enjoyed being down there, and my personal project keeps pushing forward, and at some point we'll be releasing that into the world. I have put up some of the images.
You've been posting pictures along
on the
way.
Instagram. Yeah, I've posted some, but it is progressing. It's something that I wanted to do for over 9 years and never did it.
And I'm editing something related to that as well.
A different photo story.
We're trying to work, figure out the structure of everything. And,
that piece of content that you're working on is going to be very powerful.
Yeah, that one's really good.
That's because it's me editing. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And by the way, if you want to edit like me, don't forget, check out the Frono's Photo Guide to Video Editing.
Right. Anyway, thank you, Todd.
You're welcome.
Anyway, the farm was a lot of fun. The project's moving forward. I'm excited about that. And the last thing that we did, we shot yesterday because we got a ton of stuff in the mail when we were away.
We might as well. Fro dropped off a lot.
We might as well just show some video of the things that I got. But one of the things was a D7500, Nikon D7500 that Nikon sent to us. And we decided to go shoot World Team Tennis, which was the Philadelphia Freedom playing the Springfield Lasers. I loved how they played the Simpsons song as they came out onto the court.
Song?
The Simpsons theme song. They should have been the Springfield Isotopes. That would have been funnier. I bet you there is a Springfield Isotopes baseball team now.
There's got to be somewhere, yeah. I would hope so.
But the cool thing is that Billie Jean King started World Team Tennis in 1974. And Billie Jean was there along with...
So was I.
Whole news crew, actually.
Well, there was a news crew doing some stuff. But Dave Leno was sitting up there interviewing her for a bunch of kids that were doing summer programs with tennis in the Boys and Girls Club or the Girls Club.
They had a lot of good questions, too, the kids.
They did. Billie Jean, for those of you who don't know, you can look up Billie Jean King. She is one of the most powerful athletes and women throughout the history of modern sports. She's
big advocate for women's rights.
Right, an integral role in Title IX, which says that that women's athletes need to get the same
Equal pay, right?
Well, partly equal pay, but can't be discriminated against because they're women. So that's why if there's a man, in college, there's Title IX. You got to go through and.
But she still hits like a girl.
Right. So she also brought up Todd's kidding, by the way. She brought up a very interesting point. She was like, it's all about networking. She brought up the whole thing about networking yesterday, too.
Yeah, she did.
About who you know and how these relationships. She talked about relationships.
She's very big on speaking up, too, and just...
Oh, man.
Saying what's on your mind.
It was funny. Yeah, Steven's like...
she's very blunt.
Well, I'm like, that's an athlete's mentality. An athlete's mentality is winning. And being what may be perceived as forceful is just straightforwardness, no beating around the bush. I mean, she's a champion of the people, a champion in her sport. And there is a new movie coming out called Battle of the Sexes.
Steve Carell's in it.
Which is Steve Carell and La La Land's Todd's favorite movie, Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Not Emma Watson.
Not Hermione.
Love Hermione. Yeah, I still haven't seen that stupid movie.
I have the Blu-ray.
Wait, Harry Potter, you mean? Or?
La La Land.
La La Land.
Oh, I've never
seen
seen
Billie
La La
Jean
Land
King
either.
was awesome. Shooting the camera, it was difficult. One of the things that came in the mail also was the Tamron 14 to 400, 18 to 400. Whoops.
Man, look at that. Nice push-pull lens.
This would go great with that bull. So it's not a push-pull lens.
It can be.
Push-pull is pushing and pulling. This is twist.
Oh, twist lens.
It's not very easy to
What
twist and turn.
are we talking about right now?
Ooh, I like how you do that.
Anyway,
Really inappropriate right now.
we'll be playing with that lens a little bit. And then also Microsoft gave us a Surface Studio Pro, or whatever it's called, Microsoft Surface Studio, which is fun to use.
The screen is beautiful.
They gave it to us, so we get to keep it. So thank you, Microsoft.
It looks cool.
And
really cool.
Then a bunch of other gear came in the mail. So why don't we get to the newsy part of the show?
Let's do it.
Where we'll talk about the news stories. And one of those things is not MyGearVault, but we'll talk about that later. So Nikon turned 100, right? Nikon turns 100, and they didn't send us a cake.
Thanks, Nikon.
Thanks, Nikon.
They sent DP Review a cake, like, ooh, let's
And it was like
send
an
to-
awesome, beautiful D5 cake.
Yeah.
That was
Why didn't we
Hashtag
get
thanks,
really
Nikon.
detailed.
No thanks.
hashtag MoonBeam would have done something.
Stolen it.
Yes. She would have taken a bite out of it. It's like a pie sitting on a windowsill.
If you didn't want me to eat the cake, you shouldn't have put it out on your windowsill.
It's a wild cake.
It belongs to everybody.
It belongs to everybody. Food is for everybody.
So they on the 100th anniversary, they also announced the development of the Nikon D850. Stephen, what do you think the D850 will consist of? Because all they told us was the name.
I do think that it will have somewhere in the realm of 45 to 46 megapixel sensor. I think it'll be more than 42, more than the A7R Mark II for the Sony side. It looked like from images that were leaked that it's going to have a tiltable touchscreen.
Which is what I said in the video.
The backlit buttons, which are awesome. I wish every camera manufacturer would
Yep.
get on board with that. And then no flash, which I'm kind of surprised about because it's kind of meant for a studio camera.
Well, you wouldn't use that flash in the studio.
No, but their CLS system or whatever their wireless triggering system's called for Nikon, I
Maybe
forget.
it has that built in.
It has it built in where you can trigger other
Yeah.
wireless flashes. So
Dumb question. Full frame crop sensor is just like an entry level camera.
No, D850 is a full frame.
So it's the
So it'd be a
D810
full-
successor.
Gotcha.
Full frame, which the D810 was 36 megapixels. This will, again, I think it'll be more than 42.
Yeah, they also, I'm going to say that it's going to be 8 frames a second because they said speedy camera.
Which is a lot to push out for a high megapixel camera. That's a whole lot.
Right.
So that's going to be pretty remarkable.
I think it's going to be $3,600, $350 for a grip, and tiltable, touchable screen, of course.
Love those.
Now, also in the video, they actually released a promo video. The only thing they mentioned was that it's going to have 8K time lapse. 8K time lapse is equal to what, a 36 megapixel
megapixels, I
image.
think, yeah.
So I assume if they're doing a 8K time lapse, it's a little bit slight crop of the sensor. So it'll probably be
If they're
again
doing
the
8K
40-ish
time
range.
lapse, they're
Megapixel
probably going to
sensor.
shoot 4K with that camera.
Oh, the camera will
it'll
absolutely
definitely
shoot 4K.
So
yeah.
even the D7500 that we just tested has 4K. Nikon gives 4K to everything now.
not
Full
the-
frame 4K or any crop
No.
on the 4K?
It will
It's-
probably be a crop,
It'll
I
be
bet.
absolutely cropped.
Their
4K.
current 4Ks are what, 1.5 for the D5?
I don't even know. You use that more
I
than
believe
do.
it's 1.5x for the
Gotcha.
D5. So it's about APS-C size.
Okay.
Crop. Super 35. What else is there on that camera?
Yeah, it's a camera. So it's the same thing with the D7500. When I shot it, you're like, I'm out there shooting. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? It's a camera. The whole point is I'm here to get photos. Did it allow me to get photos? So the D850 is going to be, I think it will be out end of September, early October. If I had to put an educated guess, I mean, there's not much else to say about it right now because they didn't really release anything.
Now, if it's pushing out, 8 frames per second at more than 36 megapixels, I assume it's definitely going to have at least an XQD slot.
Well, the last one had the last one
had
has two
two
SDs.
SD.
Oh, yeah. I
Because at the
said in
time,
the
that
video
was
it's going to
the
have
thing.
XQD and SD. I hope they go to 2 XQD. The only problem is the only one that makes XQD is Sony, and because there's no more Lexar.
So this is the camera that's right below the D5, correct?
Yeah, right below the D5.
Maybe they will put in 2 actual XQD slots, but
Hopefully.
that will kind of be surprising to me.
It would be.
Usually
And
they
then-
leave their flagship for the 2 slots.
And then in other Nikon news, they talked about the D5 is delayed. The D5 100th anniversary.
Is that
And-
the gray one?
The
That
gray
looks
one.
awesome. The gunmetal.
Yeah, super awesome. Anyway, I took their Japanese press release and ran it through Google Translate, and it says, and I quote, regarding the following models that were scheduled to be released on July 28, we will postpone the release in early August. Wait, that doesn't make sense.
Postpone it
oh,
to
post-
early
Too
August?
early August?
Well, it's coming directly from Japanese, so it's not like it was translated and then fixed up by
Yeah,
press.
of course.
Our guy Jeff
Sometimes doesn't
So
translate
what it
well.
means is, I believe they'll be released at the end of August, as it takes time to final adjust the product. All that final adjusting is difficult. To spray paint it gray.
I was going to say, it's literally a D5, just a different color, correct?
Yeah. So that's that. That's that news story.
Well, they also released a video, too.
They did.
The 100th anniversary video.
Oh, Jesus. I
you
forgot
see this,
about the
Todd?
100th anniversary
Oh
video.
my God.
Let's roll that in the background without the sound. So it's like terrible. They took Nikon employees.
Actual Nikon employees, too. They weren't professional dancers.
I forgot
You
I
could
should
tell.
put that in Photo News Fix.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't professional dancers, and it is a horrible song that's popular in Japan, I guess. It's called...
I assume, yeah.
It's from a band called Miss Green MoonBeam.
Something like
Hashtag MoonBeam. I don't remember what they're called. I can't tell if the lead singer is a guy or a girl.
Yeah.
I think it's one or the other.
Of course. 50-50
Just like when
chance.
first time I saw Hanson, I'm like, that girl is hot. Damn, that girl's sexy. And I was like, oh, her name's Taylor? Oh.
Taylor.
Whatever. If the shoe fits. Whatever that means.
What else fit?
So anyway, this video is atrociously, horribly stupid. Can you please spend money on something that matters like us?
Well, that's my question is, how long did it take them to do that video shoot? Because regular employees, not professional dancers, will take some time to actually learn how to dance properly. And you can tell that they took some time to do this whole choreographed huge dance for this 5-minute video. I wonder how much time they took away from spray painting the D5 to do this video.
That's why they can't get it out on time, because they were busy dancing.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, Todd, it was this giant green screen room that they did it in.
All right, moving on to another story that came out yesterday in the news. It was TSA. TSA has announced that moving forward in the next couple of weeks or months, they're going to make you, if you're a photographer, or anybody else that has something larger than a cell phone, you're going to have to put along with your laptop in its own bin, you're going to have to put your iPad, which we had to do in Europe anyway. No, Europe let us leave it in. Something like that. You're going to have to put in...
Europe let us leave everything in.
Right. Any electronic larger than a cell phone will have to go into a bin. So that means if you have a camera bag, you have to take out your camera. You have to take out your lenses. You have to
to take apart the entire bag, pretty much, for us.
Well, that's what they say. But then when I read further, Stephen... I got further, and they said that if you are pre-check, you will not have to do that, which means you need to go get pre-check.
Or I just give you the bag.
I can't take 4 bags through.
We only take usually 1 bag when we travel. But yeah, I'll do pre-check.
You need to go get pre-check.
That only took you, a day to do?
Well, I had to go to the place. They scan your fingerprints. Then within like a week to 8 days, I had my known traveler's number. I was verified. And as long as you have no record... you probably will be cleared to get pre-check.
Not doing that pre-check then.
Pre-check is awesome, and I'm going to get global entry because global entry allows you when you come back into the United States to skip the line and go to. It's like pre-check getting back into the country.
Okay,
it's much faster. It's $80. I told you I'd pay for it.
Okay,
if you want, just go take the time and do it one morning.
Where was it at? The airport where you actually?
No, I didn't have to go to the airport. You can go to TSA's website and they'll tell you where to go. There's different locations. I went to one 10 minutes from me.
Okay.
And nobody was there. I walked in, they scanned my fingerprints, I gave them a check, I was on my way, and I got my pre-check.
When does this actually take effect?
It said in the coming weeks or months.
I wonder if before we go back to LA, if that's going to be in effect. That's about 3 weeks away.
Yeah, well,
2 weeks away, give or take.
I would see if you could make it happen. See if there's one local to you, and you go one afternoon.
Yeah, I'll definitely
You leave here early and just go.
Sounds good.
So I also want to just say that the TSA is false sense of security. I say it every time. I love how you're waiting in that line, and not to be macabre or anything, but the truth of the matter is, if some asshole, not a hippie, generally hippies don't blow things up. If some asshole decides they want to do something, they will walk right into the airport and do something. They can't be stopped. They're not going to be stopped at the turnstile. They're going to walk in because it's free to walk into the airport, just not get past security.
Well, what I love is that they make you throw out any of the liquids that are higher, than
More
a travel
than 3
size.
ounces.
What if that happened to actually be a flammable liquid or something? That whole trash can, everything they're chucking everything into is just...
So that's another thing. They tell you that any hazardous material and water needs to be thrown into the trash can. So what do they do with this trash can? Do they just throw it in a
regular dumpster.
Or do they use it as hazardous material?
Yeah.
It's false sense of bullshit. And I say that all the time. There's sheeple out there that sit there and is like, I feel safer because of the TSA. The TSA doesn't make me feel any safer. It's just another bullshit checkpoint to give people the perception that after 9/11 they're more secure, though they failed 98% of their tests when people tried to sneak shit through as tests. So it's bullshit. They do their job. That's their job. Whatever. They employ people. I'm very adamant about this whole thing that if somebody wants to do something, they're gonna do it. They'll
find a way.
They just do it.
It's a shame, but yeah.
So
scary.
The other thing I'll say about that is I don't like going through the spinny machine, and so usually with pre-check there is no spinny machine.
I like going through that.
You just go through a regular metal detector, right?
Regular metal detector, because I don't.
I have them do it multiple times.
Todd's like, spin it again. Spin it again.
Can you see the metal in my cheek?
So I basically, I will never go through that thing. You can pat me down all you want. So the moral of the story is, if you have
I don't even know why they even check you, because your stuff is so tight. They can see everything on you.
Yeah. The moral of the story is, if you have gear and you're a photographer and you do traveling, go spend the money and get pre-check.
Agreed.
It's for 5 years. So it comes out to like $10 a year, saves you hours of time. Like, I show up at the airport, and within 2 minutes, generally, I'm through security on my way to the gate 2 hours early.
It is great.
So moving on to another story that I'm going to make a separate rant video about.
Uh-oh. Dave?
Buckle your seatbelts. Here comes another ranty McRanterson.
Well, and I'll leave this to you guys to talk about as well, because this was a news story that popped up that stolen wedding gear in San Francisco. There was a wedding photographer who was offering a $1,000 cash reward with no questions asked for the return of a stolen memory card containing irreplaceable wedding photos, along with she had a $15,000 of gear stolen from her car.
She just mainly wants the memory card back.
Well, of course she wants the memory card back because she did a job.
Yeah.
Now she can't deliver the job because her stuff was stolen from her car. So what happened is her and her assistant stopped at a park to use the restroom and then came back, and 10 minutes later, the window was smashed and the gear was stolen. So you guys want to take your opinion first before I get yelled at?
I just would never leave anything
never.
like that in plain sight in my car. At least have it in a trunk. And then like in my car, it's got the hatchback thing so you can kind of see it, but I have the little thing that covers it so you can't really see what's in the car. You should never be able to see anything in your car.
Same with me. I have black on black, tinted windows, everything. I mean,
Well,
even
that's
if
because you're ghetto. But
even if I put it in my back seat, you can't see it unless you're literally doing this, shining a light through the car.
even with that, I
would
never
still
leave anything
put it
in my
the
car.
trunk.
Put it in the trunk.
If I couldn't bring it with me.
Or take it in the bathroom, man.
Well,
I would take it with me for sure.
Or let's break this down. There's two of them. Do both of you need to go to the bathroom at the same
Take
time?
turns.
No.
Correct.
Well, we go to the bathroom together,
Was
and we
MoonBeam
go
there?
into the gardens together. So it's like, I don't want to be without my sister, okay? We're all sisters here.
So this is the photographer's fault, flat out. There's no other way to beat around the bush or flowers in the garden than to say flat out that this is the photographer's fault. I want to take it easy, or I don't want to take it easy, because it is their fault.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. If you do anything, like you had options here. Take the stuff with you to go to the bathroom. There's two of you. Have one of you go to the bathroom and the other stay with the car. And that doesn't mean that I'm happy that your shit got stolen. No, that's terrible. But you need to be smart as a photographer, as a creative, as a person, not to leave shit in a car that is important. Anything in a car, to be honest with you.
You always need to be protecting your investment. Anytime I walk away from set, even or anything, I say to you, say to Dan, can you babysit this stuff for a second? I'll be right back. Babysit my stuff.
So there's that. Or if you're going somewhere, you take your shit out of the car with you. When I go into a restaurant and I'm on my own, I have 3 bags in the car. I've got my shoulder bag, I got my backpack with a laptop, and I got an airport security.
Yep.
Guess what happens with all 3 of those bags?
You're lugging it around
take
with
them
you.
in
Table
with
for
me.
4.
What'd you say?
Table for 4.
And that's exactly what happens is I get a booth and I put my shit in the booth and I sit there and I eat my meal and then I take my stuff with me when I'm done.
Yeah.
Like it goes with me.
Where do you complain about the food in between there?
So they're at fault flat out. These girls are this is like
It's a shame that it happened, but yes,
of course
they are.
it's absolutely a shame that it happened, but it's about education. Anything can happen. Anything can get stolen.
Well, there wasn't a sign on their window that said, don't break my
don't steal.
window.
Good
So
one.
if they would have had a sign on their window, don't steal my stuff, then it might not have happened.
Right, that's
okay?
a good one. Touche. Now they don't have the wedding photos, which means they could get sued. Their insurance may or may not cover the fact that they get sued or they have to give the money back. She offered to pay for a hotel room and a reshoot, but that's not the same thing.
It's not the
You just
same
need
thing.
to think. You need to think that this is your livelihood. And some people are like, well, that's why I split up cards. I think you're less likely to get robbed flat out during the day going to eat or going to pee, having your gear on you, than leaving it in an empty car for somebody to be enticed to steal it.
I learned the hard way when we used to work at your place, and I left one time by accident my radar detector out. Usually that's when I actually had a radar detector.
Yeah.
And I always used to put it in the dash, just always cover it up. I would always put it away. And the one time I forgot because we were running late for something, I come back midday and my window's smashed, all that crap stolen. The funny thing is, I actually had more expensive headphones in the back seat that, again, I had tinted windows so they couldn't see.
Yeah, man.
They didn't take that.
Well, you didn't put a sign that said take the expensive stuff.
Exactly.
Well, man, I needed that radar detector so when I'm running away from the pastry shop with my croissants, these can't catch up to me, you know what I'm saying? Because I be running fast as shit, you know what I'm saying?
No, in your cart.
I be running fast as shit with my cart, you know what I mean? I'm like
cart with a radar
Jackass,
detector.
you know what I mean? I'm like Jackass when I be rolling like that.
Ever since then, I don't leave anything in my car, nothing.
Oh, speaking of Jackass, by the way, brief plug, the new CKY video.
Oh, you're in it.
I'm in it.
Is it out?
It's out. Yeah, it's out on their Vemo or Vivo.
How many views does it have?
Maybe 20,000. It just came out the other day. And Scott from my improv group, he's in it too. He's funny. Yeah, so minor plug. Speaking of shopping carts and Jackass, the guys, CKY, we're in the video.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's awesome.
Coming back to getting your stuff stolen from your car, I'll just say MyGearVault. Just go get MyGearVault wouldn't have saved you from getting your stuff stolen. And also, that's just flat out stupidity.
Well, MyGearVault can't save you from your own stupidity.
Yes, thank you.
So that's
write that down. Quote that so we can make a video about MyGearVault won't save you from your own stupidity.
I wish we had cameras rolling that we could record that.
So go download MyGearVault. It's available for iOS and Android. It's the best way to input, organize, protect your gear so you know what you have and what it's worth. Go use it. It's free. If you don't like it, delete it and move on and don't worry about it. But I just think that because it's free and it's really good and you're watching this, which means you probably have some kind of gear, put it in there so you have all of the information there just in case something does happen. And if you do want to get insurance and you are a professional, then go ahead and take that survey. In the future, the goal is that amateurs, people that have good amount of gear that aren't considered professionals, we're working on getting you covered as well because there is a need to get the person that has $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 worth of gear as a person who doesn't do it as a full-time gig, but also does do shoots to get you covered as well.
Yeah,
so
that's a lot of money.
That's coming later.
Yeah.
You guys want to add anything? Any information? Any news stories?
No, that's it.
Nope.
I hope that worked out. It just felt like I was talking again.
I mean, you were.
Yeah, but I think we all gave opinions on that.
That's great. It's great. Yeah, it's great.
So that's the newsy stuff.
Yeah, that's the newsy stuff.
So it looks like that's pretty much going to be it. Dan's going away next week, right?
Yeah, he's on vacay.
That sucks. Is he editing
That's
while he's away?
bullshit.
He said that sucks.
Is he editing while he's away?
Dan, are you
No.
taking your laptop to edit in Vermont with the hippies?
Yeah, he's going to a hippie commune.
Yeah.
Are you going to a hippie commune?
He's meeting up at MoonBeam.
Oh, he said none of our business.
None
Yeah, I
yet.
know what that means.
If you're out there in Vermont, keep an eye out for a hippie van
Yeah, and it's going to smell like patchouli oil.
and tomatoes.
Yeah, he says he's going to pick tons of flowers along the way.
So lock your gates.
Hashtag MoonBeam.
Hide your wife, hide your kids, lock your flowers.
Hide your flowers.
Hide your flowers and do this.
Yeah.
Stay away. I got to go get the Sharpie so I can write hippies. So pretty much that's going to be it. Please go check out all of the other audios that we have. And you've noticed that we've been putting out a really good, solid piece of content. Well, lots of solid content, but
Real-world
bigger
reviews?
piece of real-world
Yeah.
reviews. We've got the Sigma 135. We've got the, coming soon, we've got the Zoo. We got the 8 to 15
Fisheye
Nikon
review
fisheye.
coming out very
the
soon.
7500. We're going to be filming
60
a
Mark
60
II,
Mark II one.
which
We've got the T7i. We
Yep.
got the 18 to 400 Tamron for both Nikon and Canon. They both came in.
Lots of good stuff
Lots
coming.
of stuff. Yeah, we're
Yep.
still debating what we want to do with the 60 Mark II, but it's kind of a jack of all trades type camera. So
Give your
something more
suggestions in the
portrait-
comment. What should we shoot
Yeah,
with the
I think
60
more like
Mark
portrait
II?
style, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Awesome.
Awesome sauce. So that's it. That's RAWtalk episode 225. We thank you guys very much for watching. And remember,
Stay the hell out of the garden.
hashtag MoonBeam, hashtag MoonBeam Kessler Crane, hashtag we're out of here. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.
Dan, get the hell out of here. Yeah.